Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So, yesterday, if you haven't heard, Tyler Robinson was formally charged for Charlie Kirk's murder. I have news on that and those specific charges. I'm also going to share with you how Trump's incompetent DOJ may have already torpedoed the case. So, first up are the charges. So, Robinson has been charged with aggravated murder with an enhancement for victim targeting, and because the alleged murder was committed in the presence of a child. So, count two is felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury. The two enhancements apply to that charge as well. Counts three and four are each for obstruction of justice. Counts five and six are each for tampering with a witness. Count seven is for violent offense committed in the presence of a child. And the victim targeting enhancement also applies to that charge. So the charging document provided some details about what Robinson's mother told the police after her son turned him, after he turned himself in on September 11th. Sorry, I was getting tongue-tied there. Anyway, it says, and I will bring this up for you guys. Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders. So that was a direct quote from the document. It goes on to confirm that Robinson mentioned taking his own life more than once. This was after he was confronted about Kirk's shooting by his father. And Robinson admitted to disposing of the clothing that he was wearing in different areas. So, those were the clothes that he wore the day of the shooting, allegedly. The charging document then went on to discuss his roommate, and that, his roommate is actually his boyfriend, still boyfriend at this point because he has not transitioned yet. So the authorities wrote, quote, on September 10, 2025, the roommate received a text message from Robinson, which said, drop what you are doing, look under my keyboard. So the roommate goes, he looks under the keyboard, he finds a note, and it allegedly said, I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. Now, evidently, the note was destroyed, I guess, but the roommate, I don't know if he took a photo of it, and that's what Kash Patel was referring to when they said they had forensic evidence of a note. Anyway, the roommate, after reading that note, he texts Robinson and he said, quote, what? And then he had like 10 question marks after that. And then he said, you're joking, right? And Robinson replies to him, quote, I am still, actually, let me bring this up. I have the whole documented text message chain between them. So he said, I am still okay, my love, but am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you. And then the roommate asked, quote, you weren't the one who did it, right? And Robinson confessed, allegedly, saying, quote, I'm sorry. And then when the roommate asked why, Robinson said in part, quote, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. And then Robinson allegedly also said that he planned the murder for a week, roughly, and then he expressed a bunch of concern about having to abandon the rifle. So the reason he seems so stressed about it is apparently this rifle was a gift from his grandfather. And honestly, if you read through this, like, he seems more concerned about the rifle and how his father's going to react over the rifle than being caught for a murder. And then Robinson told his boyfriend slash roommate to delete the text messages. And he said, quote, since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. Evidently, the conversation picked up after he agreed to turn himself in. So it seems like, maybe it's an open and shut case. There are some issues, though. They're going to run into some pushback because Trump's Justice Department has made conflicting statements about this suspect. So they claimed that initially, they said that he was wearing two different outfits on the day of the shooting. They haven't released a single photo showing him in that supposed second outfit. Originally, they said he arrived at campus wearing shorts. And then somehow, somewhere, he, apparently changed. So I don't know. They haven't shown any photos of that. Also, the video of the alleged suspect jumping off the roof of the building, it doesn't appear to show him with a gun. Now, it is admittedly, it's a bit blurry, so it's possible he was carrying something, but to the naked eye, you can't see it. Like you don't see him carrying a rifle or a bag big enough for a rifle. And, you know, they're saying, oh, well, he disassembled it. And so we found a screwdriver on the roof and it had his fingerprints on it. Well, if he disassembled the gun at some point, as they claim, why did they find the gun fully assembled in the woods? Right? Who would disassemble the gun on the roof, presumably, and then put the gun back together and then wrap it in a towel and hide it in the woods? So a good defense attorney, they're going to have a field day with these inconsistencies. I'm not an attorney, but even I could poke a million holes in this case, right? At least as it's being laid out and relayed to us. I mean, there could be more. There could be things that they haven't released that they're not showing us. But from what we've seen, it seems, a little Swiss cheesy, I guess you could say. If I was an attorney, I would say, well, okay, he confessed, but he just did it because he was a young man in love, trying to impress his significant other, trying to impress his online friends. Yeah, he went to see Charlie Kirk, but he didn't shoot him. He was just trying to get a good view of him, and he got up on the roof. And that's why you don't see him with the gun, because, his gun was in the woods, has his fingerprints on it because it is his gun, but he left it there for some other reason, and he took it to like try to prove to his boyfriend that his story was legit. So, I would say that's why he was more worried about his father being upset, that the gun was missing than being caught for murder. So I don't know what's going to happen, but the verb tense I find interesting too in this so-called note under the keyboard that they don't have. The verb tense doesn't match, right? Robinson allegedly wrote, I had the chance to take out Kirk and I'm going to take it. That doesn't make sense. And this kid is supposedly very bright. Like has a high IQ, did amazing on the SATs or something, like 4.0 honor roll student. Like he's not someone who would misuse or substitute had for has. I don't know. Just we'll see. Anyway, like I said, there's going to be some issues here. Even Steve Bannon is coming out and saying, this seems like way too easy. Like this seems like a bad script that they wrote. I don't know. We will see what happens. But anyway, guys, that's where it stands at this moment. I will let you know as soon as we know more about this case, but it appears for once, I mean, if this is the correct person, if this is the, actual suspect, if this is the actual assassin of Charlie Kirk, then for once the right has it right. For once they're right. It was somebody on the left. Unlike the person who shot Trump in Pennsylvania, unlike, the guy who killed the Minnesota lawmaker and her husband and dog and shot the other Minnesota lawmaker. They try to spin it as if they're all from the left, but they're not. They are actually not. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's what's unnerving them, to be honest with you guys. I think it's the fact that it is finally someone on the left. And that's pretty telling. Their reaction is pretty telling, because if everybody had been from the left, if the guy in Pennsylvania who shot Trump was actually a leftist, if the guy, if all of these supposed things that they say were done by the left, they would have been freaking out before now. They would have been having these same meltdowns that they're having right now over Charlie Kirk, but they didn't, which tells you they know they were full of shit before, right? If they really thought that the person who shot Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania was from the left, they would have been having a freaking meltdown like they are right now. And they didn't. There was some uproar and some finger pointing, and then it died down because they knew, even though they try to still lie about it. But they know this time, right? That it's real to them. And it's kind of like a bully. They keep pushing their victim around, And then, when it comes back at them, when a bigger bully steps in, the bully's like kind of shocked, like, oh my God, somebody actually, gave me a little bit of my own medicine. And again, I'm not justifying Charlie Kirk's murder. He absolutely did not deserve to die, should not have been shot, disagree with it wholeheartedly. But, or I shouldn't say but, and, because both things are true, and we have seen over and over and over again acts of political violence committed by the right for years. And they never take responsibility. They never cop to it. They never say, yeah, you know what, we got to tone things down. We got to pull things back. We got to, this is too much. No, they mock Paul Pelosi. They say nothing about Minnesota. They mock everybody. They mocked the police officers who were beaten and brutalized and almost killed on January 6th at the Capitol. And they never take a beat. And now, because it's one of theirs and it was committed by somebody on the left, they're like, they don't know what to do. They do know what to do. They want to, go for the throat, go for the jugular, and destroy everybody on the left. So anyway, all right, guys, thank you all so much for watching and listening. Again, please share this with everyone you know. Please like, please subscribe if you have not. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.